But back to this analysis. So, knowing that they have canceled the PvE, a lot of people are very pissed about that. I kind of don't really care, so I didn't really think PvE was really the fun part of this game. I wanted them to fix ranked. I wanted them to put in player run tournaments. I wanted them to do tournaments for lower ranked people so you can actually play in the sort of environment where people actually care about their games and get that kind of experience of like learning as a team and getting together as a team. And I wanted team based SR, which is like you create a team, kind of like guilds in World of Warcraft. You make a guild, in this case it would be a team, and then you name that team, and then the team gains XP, and maybe you do as well. And then the team becomes a rank team, and then that team can rank up or down based on what the team does. And since it's a team game, that seems to make sense. I don't understand why it's not. So one ray of hope that is keeping me interested in this game is that they may still do some kind of team based competitive mode. So I'm hoping that that happens because that's the only thing that will really keep me in this game. If they don't provide any kind of guild system or any kind of way to group people together and plan out times to play and practice and stuff like that, I just don't see this game staying alive the way it currently is. Um, so let's just take a look back in history here as to what I thought they should do. Um, so this was right when they announced that they were going to do Overwatch 2 PvP. So and that they were restructuring things and there was going to be a big push to do changes. And they announced that 5v5 was going to be the new way. So what I said they should do is make sure they get Overwatch 1 sorted out right away. Start a schedule for new content right now. Start putting stuff into Overwatch 1 at the time. If you want 5v5, then do it right away. Just get back into regular balance changes. Um, I didn't like the 5v5 at the time because I really liked the tank and off tank interplay. But that stuff wouldn't stop me from playing. They just needed to commit to it. And I also thought they should see what Al wants to do. And then the green text is for the second update. Um, and then the skins could be done as a quick show of faith. That was something they ended up doing. So most of this stuff here I'm mentioning, they did when they released Overwatch 2. Um, but they should have done it sooner. I think they should have just done it in Overwatch 1 and not said it was Overwatch 2. Um, yeah, then I said they should release the new characters, which they kind of trickled out a little bit and put them in the battle pass, which was dumb. Then they needed to fix comp, and then I said they need a way to play comp as a real team game and give up on the comp part being for casuals, which I still think they should do. Give us a way to group up and team up guilds or whatever you want to call it. Make it required to play comp and give the teams a name and a team SR and MMR. Let player organizations arrange player run tournaments and give them support to do it properly. Let player organizations police for smurf, thrower, griefer problems as far as the comp goes. Allow players to charge for their tournaments as incentive and to weed out the non-serious players. Take a cut if you must, but use the revenue from that to fund support for the actual game, not go into Bobby Kodak's pocket. So these are the things I thought way back in Overwatch 1 when they announced that they were going to release Overwatch 2. And then I said, get Overwatch 2 sorted out. This is still at that time. Stop calling it a sequel. Nobody is fooled by this. No one is definitely fooled by that now. Make it an expansion pack and put the PvE stuff in only when you get it done and get it out the door as soon as possible. So the PvE stuff I thought should have been an expansion pack and just don't even call it Overwatch 2. This still stands, but it should be easier now that... Oh, and this was also talking about the Microsoft deal, which we're not even sure if that's really going to go. I thought it would be easier if they did that because Microsoft probably just cares about the Game Pass. And what else could they do now? I don't know. How long would this take? The deal concludes in 2023, which it is now, and I don't think it's going to happen. And then in the later update, they said they started decoupling Overwatch 2 PvE and PvP so they can test the PvP. Still calling the sequel, PvP will be an Overwatch 2 code base and not ported back to Overwatch 1, so we won't be able to play it in regular comp. That sucked at the time. And then Aaron Keller posted a quick update of highlights. He apologized for lack of common choice of not keying up on Overwatch 1. Now we kind of know why they weren't. They were being pretty silent. I think they were being forced to do that because they didn't want anybody accidentally revealing that they weren't going to do the PvE. They promised to do more updates, but I think that was still controlled by management. They did some dev changes, so Overwatch 2 Alpha was shown to a select group under NDA. That was the Overwatch League and the some of the content creators. Overwatch League would be using it for the next season. This was April a year ago, I guess. So April in 2022. And then new features were going to be on the way in the beta only. Ping feature, I was meh about that feature and I still don't even use it because I can't even remember how to use it. So I thought it might be a new method for griefing at my rank, but it doesn't look like people just overuse the system. I think most people don't even remember to use it. So only the more skilled players are using it. A new character, Sojourn. I had no interest in her at the time, except that she was Canadian, which I'm cool with, but she was pretty powerful at the beginning in the beta, and then she's kind of okay now. Character reworks ongoing, new maps, new game mode push, which I didn't care much for, and I still don't. So yeah, all this stuff is pretty much was covered by what I said, and they still haven't done the one thing that I think they should do, which is this, make it let player organizations police the system and get tournaments and get team-based SR and MMR. And then I was interested in ideas for integrating streamers, because I think they got a missed opportunity here as well. There's so much potential for Overwatch with the audience that it has and the people that are interested in it and love it, that I'm so like blown away with that they don't do stuff like this. So integrating the streamers into some more direct features in the game for them, like better tools for spectating and streaming comp. They did do some of that. The game at the time in Overwatch 1 was a fairly good balanced state. If people weren't so bored with that, then maybe Smurfs wouldn't keep ranking down and up on purpose, and might have some better close games. One thing I will give Overwatch 2 is that so far, people in comp, I see Smurfs deranking way less. Like before, it was like every 5 to 10 games. Now it's more like, maybe once in 30 games I see a Smurf, an obvious Smurf. Throwers and levers sometimes happens, but definitely not as much as it used to. And then they needed to respond to streamers saying there's no content. I mean, content could have been available if they just put in... Think of how much content would have been created by just putting in a guild system and having people creating their guilds and talking about their guilds and talking about stuff they did with their guilds. Like, adding more community to it would have given them something fairly... Like, they wouldn't need to do so much content if they just put in, like, rewards and stuff for the guilds. It just would have been a better system, and people would would feel more involved as if there was content already there. Also, player-created content could have been highlighted more, could still be highlighted more. The workshop game, like, have one workshop game in a card that changes every day or every week. Maybe allow players to vote on it. I mean, there's lots of good stuff in the arcade, but I never see it because I have to wade through hundreds of versions of the same thing and, like, wade through, like, bad, terrible ones. Like, if people just voted on the workshop games, those people who are really into it, those of us who don't go wading through all that stuff, could actually play it and find out about how cool they are. And streamers could play a game from the workshop like once a week. There's lots of things streamers could have done on their own. And then we need to have something that involve players and streamers more, like player run or streamer run events. We had a bit of that at the highest levels with people like Jane, who was, a coach for one of the Overwatch League teams, and he would run scrims for lots of different levels of players. He would sometimes like go on and talk directly to a bronze player or something, showing him how to play the game better. Or he had his bronze challenge, where if you're a bronze player but you think you belong in a higher rank, he would get together a group of people in the higher rank and let them play with him and see if they really were. And most of the time it turned out they were actually able to do so. It's like there's just so many ideas that I had for stuff that could have been done, but it wouldn't work for me because I'm just a lowly bronze player. And I just don't have the audience. But someone like Stylosa or Your Overwatch, Frito or Samito or all those guys with SVB, those guys could run any kind of like tournaments or stuff. Instead of sitting and endlessly complaining about the game, they could be spending time interacting with the players and making stuff better for them, like organizing small challenges, tournaments, scrims, whatever. If those things were available, I think everybody would want to make use of them. So, and have like a sign up sheet or something to be there on a certain day, they could stream it. People love to watch that stuff. So, but I mean, if the streamers, I can understand why a streamer would want to spend all their time organizing that and getting it ready. I know when Total Biscuit was around, he used to do that for the StarCraft community, but he never got paid anything for that, or a very minimal amount of compared to his effort. And he would run these tournaments for StarCraft and host them and cast them and a lot of organization is involved in that. And why is the company who has all this money off of what we're doing not doing that to drum up more interest in the game? Like, it seems like a no-brainer to me that if you just did that, you'd get more people, and the people you do have would be more happy and loyal and willing to buy stuff. Just, it seems ridiculous to me that this isn't even a thing yet. And this game's been around since 2015. Like, what the hell, man? Those are just so bad at capitalizing on this stuff that they've made that is great content. Like, the characters in Overwatch cannot be beat in any other game. They are just amazingly designed. They look great. They play great. They're interesting. They each have personalities. They're voiced by excellent voice actors. Like, any other company would be overjoyed to have that kind of engagement and in what they've built, and they can be really proud of the quality that they've built. But then they go and just piss it all away for greed. It's like, this is the problem. This is what happened. And I have another